Greetings, my fellow Zambians, and welcome. You are listening to the first of 14 weekly conversations that will run from now until mid-August. The work carries the title, In Dialogue with My President. And before I greet His Excellency, and before I greet you, allow me to be honest about what this is and what it is not. It is not in the strict sense of the word a dialogue. A dialogue is two voices speaking to each other in turn. President Hakainde Hichilema is not in this room. What this work is, in its truest sense, is a monologue. It is the voice of one citizen, given the chance to speak, taking the chance to say aloud what many citizens carry in their hearts, but have not yet had a platform to say. I have chosen the word dialogue, even so, because dialogue is what I am reaching for. I trust that somehow this voice will reach the ear of the president. I trust that it will reach the ear of every leader in this country, every leader in government, in opposition, in faith, in business, in civil society, in our universities, in our trade unions, in our diaspora. And I trust, perhaps most of all, that it will reach the ear of every Zambian citizen. Because the truth is this: a country is not built by one person, however high the office might be. Our country is built by all of us together, joining hands, joining heads, joining hearts. Good evening, Your Excellency, President Hakainde Hichilema. Good evening, my fellow Zambians, wherever you are this hour. From Nakonde to Livingstone, from Mongu to Chipata, from Solwezi to Mansa, from Kabwe to Kasama, I greet you all. I am Martin Kalungu Banda. For many years now, I have worked alongside leaders across sectors. Heads of state, ministers, senior advisors, faith leaders, leaders in international and African development. I have also worked before as a special consultant to the third President of Zambia, His Excellency Levi Patrick Mwanawasa. I share this not to claim authority, but to set in honest terms the place from which I speak. I have seen with my own eyes how the circle of people around a president can become smaller over time. And I've also seen how a leader with courage can choose to keep the circle wide and rich in thought and wisdom. Before any title, before any role, I am a Zambian who loves this country, the way so many of us do. Mr. President, some of us who spoke with you on a call from the diaspora in the months just before you took office still carry that conversation. You were present, you were humble, you were direct. That conversation left us inspired. Many of us, the moment the call ended, reached for the telephone and called family and friends back home in Zambia with the simple words, "I think we have found the right candidate." We knew in our bones that this was the new dawn. We left that call with hope, and we are still holding to that hope. I open this conversation today not as a politician, not as a rival, not as a critic, as a Zambian speaking to my president, our president, and with the same heart to the leaders who aspire to walk with him into State House. We begin with the question that must come first: the Zambia we are building together. Why does this matter now, Mr. President? In 2021, you stood before this nation with a phrase that traveled far and wide: the new dawn. Almost 5 years on, the question is no longer whether the night has ended. The night did end, and you helped end it. The question now is the shape of the morning, and the work to which the morning calls all of us. The country has come through real things, Your Excellency, and I want to honor them clearly before I say anything else. Inflation has fallen from 14% peaks of recent years to around 6.8% in April, the lowest reading since February 2018. Copper production reached a record 890,346 tons in 2025. This is an 8% rise on the year before. Free education has now been passed into law by Parliament this very month. More than 41,000 teachers have been hired since 2021, and more than 2.5 million additional children have entered our classrooms. These, by any standard, are not small numbers. The country owes you, Mr. President, and the team around you, a clear recognition of what has been achieved. And yet, the country I listen to also speaks of a quiet weariness, of meal that still feels heavy in the hands of a marketeer, of clinics where medicines do not always reach the shelves, of a young man with a diploma selling airtime at a junction in Kabwe, of the harsh language of cadres returning to our streets. So the question of the new dawn is no longer a slogan question. It is a daylight question. What is this morning for? And who is it for? Permit me, Mr. President, a small but important note about how we shall hold this conversation. The word economics in this dialogue is not the narrow word of the DGP table. It is the older word, oikonomia, the management of the whole household, the flourishing of the whole person, the whole society, body and spirit together. A country develops when its mothers eat with dignity and its children dream without fear. The numbers are part of the picture. They are not the picture. Your Excellency, let us check the country's pulse. I want to bring 3 people into this conversation. They will not speak, and yet you and I will listen to them. The first is Mukasapiri, a mother in Mtendere. She wakes up at 4 in the morning, queues for water, prepares breakfast for her 3 children, all now in school, thankfully, because of your free education policy. Then goes to her shop in the market, hoping cooking oil has come down by 1 kwacha. At the end of the day, she counts her takings, and the takings tell her what she will cook for supper and what she will not. The second is Kaweme Sakuwaha, a young man in Solwezi, a diploma in business studies, 3 years looking for work. He hears copper production is rising. He hears the country has just exported maize again to Malawi, Zimbabwe, and the DRC. He does not yet feel any of it in his pocket. But he has not given up. He still believes. The third is Mwangala Stwala, a teacher in Sesheke. She trained for 3 years to teach. She is now in a room with 72 children, and the mathematics textbook is being shared between 5 desks. She is proud of her work, but she is also tired. These are not statistics, Your Excellency. They are the Zambia. Every speech, every silence is heard by them, even when they do not say so. Mr. President, you have given the country a great deal of yourself in these years. You have apologized publicly for the long power cuts. That apology mattered. It was a presidential act in the old sense of the word. You have raised the Constituency Development Fund from 1.6 million kwacha to 36.1 million kwacha per constituency, putting decisions closer to the people. You have signed free education into law, walking your own boyhood from Wengwa onto the classroom floor of every Zambian child. Each of these is a stone laid in the foundation. The country sees these stones. Even those who did not vote for you can, in honest moments, count them. Mr. President, allow me to share something from the Bible, since you, like many of us, walk with this book in your heart. You are, as the country knows, a Seventh-day Adventist church elder. The words of Scripture are not strange to you. They are familiar ground. I am thinking tonight of a moment after the resurrection by the Sea of Tiberias. The risen Lord turns to Simon Peter and asks him 3 times the same question. Do you love me? 3 times Peter answers, yes, Lord, you know I love you. And 3 times the Lord gives Peter a responsibility. The first time he says, feed my lambs. The second time he says, tend my sheep. The third time he says, feed my sheep. 3 sentences, 3 callings. And if we listen carefully, 3 layers of what it means to lead. Feed my lamb. The lambs are the smallest, the youngest, the most easily lost. To feed the lambs is to clothe with care the most vulnerable members of the community. The child whose father is gone, the grandmother whose pension does not come, the orphan in the village no one is visiting this month. Tend my sheep. The Lord's word here is wider. To tend is more than to feed. To tend is to watch over, to shelter, to guard from wolves, to know each by name, to bind the wounds. Tend my sheep is the call to a leadership that goes beyond the empty stomach into the full life. The values, the freedoms, the safety, the dignity, the sense of being seen. Tend my sheep is the call to govern the whole person, body and spirit together. Feed my sheep. And then at the end, the instruction returns to the table. Feed my sheep. Not only lambs, not only the most vulnerable, feed everyone. Because the truth, Mr. President, is simple and odd, and you yourself know it. When the belly is empty, the mind cannot rise. When the table is bare, the spirit cannot dream. An empty belly tends to wander. It tends to repudiate. It tends to lose its footing. A hungry person is not free to choose. He is only free to survive. Feed my sheep is the call to make sure that in this country, no Zambian is so hungry that he or she can no longer choose. Long before you became president, you were a farmer, a very successful farmer. I invite you gently, Your Excellency, use the farmer in you to feed the nation, not in slogans, in acts, in policy, in the small decisions that week by week mean that one more household in Chipata eats supper, that one more child in Mongu eats breakfast, that one more grandmother in Mansa does not at the end of a long day at the market count an empty till and an empty pot. Mr. President, here is the invitation that flows from all that I have shared. Not an instruction, an offering from one citizen. Your Excellency, lift your speech for a stretch of these current times. Lift it above the operational into the visionary. The numbers you have are real. But a country is not held together by numbers. It is held together by meaning. Speak of the Zambia you wish to leave behind, not a list of projects. And here is the second half of that invitation. The harder half. Do not craft the vision alone. Craft it with the country. A vision built only at the top stays at the top. A vision shaped together with the people unlocks everyone's capacity. No one is left behind. So, Your Excellency, sit in the next month with a Zambian who did not vote for you. Not on television, in private. Listen the way an elder listens. Walk in the next 30 days into a class of 72 children in Western Province without warning. Sit on a small chair. Then return to State House and let what you saw shape your week. These are gestures of presidential presence. They will cost very little. They will mean a great deal. And gently, Mr. President, lean sometimes into not knowing. Curiosity is the door. You are an intelligent man. The country has noticed this from the first hour. Your great gift will not be your knowing. It will be your willingness in the company of a country that loves you to learn openly. May we remember that all of us, including me, including you, Mr. President, can be more and can do more in the service of one Zambia, one nation. May God hold this country with both hands. Good night, Your Excellency. Good night, Zambia.